Hello, ladies. Hello, hello. A little crooked today. How's it going? All right. How's everybody doing? Ready for a quick little demo? Hi, Susan. Did you get into the store and get your new lawn fawn goodies? Hi, Barbara. Or did you stay at home and enjoy the day? It was gorgeous outside today. All right. If you're here joining us, say hello so I know you're here. Hi, Linda. Hi, Mary. You're on your break at work? Well, it'll be a short demo, so you should see the whole thing. And if not, of course, the replay will be up. So thank you for joining us. Hi, Laura. Christine. Hello. We'll wait a couple minutes, let some more people get on. Just kind of go over what I've got here. So this is just a sample that I did. It was a piece of paper that I jelly plated, I think, in a Dina Wakley class that I took. And that's what I'm using, and that's what this is as well. This is on a thicker piece of paper, but this is just a random jelly print that I pulled that I'm going to use, but you could use something that you painted. You could use just, a piece of cardstock that you cleaned off your jelly plate with. It doesn't have to be pretty because you're not going to see it. It's actually best if you use something that you don't like because you're going to cover it up. It's like this is a piece of dictionary page that I just did a bunch of stamping, and I was just playing with paints and things like that. So, just something like that. It could be a piece of pattern paper. It could be, a piece of pattern paper like this. If you're using the Michigan shape as your mask, a piece of paper that looked like Petoskey stone would be ideal, wouldn't it? Would be absolutely perfect. But I just keep a bin. I'm going to show you the bin. Don't laugh. Just keep this basket here of just things that I've done. So that's what that is. Sorry, the camera's not up very high. You can't see. But that's just all, random bits and pieces and samples and things that I've done. So I just keep them handy. I've also got a plastic bin that has these larger sheets in it. So that's what we're going to start with. We're just going to start with a piece of paper that has something painted, jelly printed, patterned, something. It could be scribbles. Honestly, it could be anything, because if you look at when it's done, you can hardly tell. The colors are really what show through on the page after you've done this. Hi everybody. Hi Michelle Winter, and thanks for joining us. So really you're just getting color. And this technique, this masking technique, is a version of something that Diane Reevely teaches in her classes. This is not something I made up, and I don't want to take credit for it. But I thought it would be great to try it with our Michigan pieces. So that's what I did. This is a piece of cardstock, whoops, a piece of cardstock cut with the large Michigan die that goes with our, that coordinates with our custom stamps. So that's what I used as my mask on this one. Now, I'll also say that we've got the mask from Wow Studios. That's the inside of the stencil. It's a little bit bigger. That would work if you're working on a larger piece. So you could use that as well. But you're going to use something as a mask and not a stencil, because you want the shape to show and you want the rest to be black, or it could be navy blue or brown or whatever color around. You can do this with paint. I am going to use this Dina Wakley black gesso. It's because I just have it here and I know where it is. I couldn't find my black paint. And I use the Ranger blending tool with a sponge. This one I actually used last night to do the sample. And what I do, I didn't wash it out, but it's still soft. But what I do after I use it is I take a paper towel and I kind of, you know, smash it into the paper towel so it gets all the excess out, so it kind of stays soft. I'll show you after we're done. So again, this is the Michigan mask, and it would be, it's a larger size. So if you're doing a full page or something larger, or the cover of a journal. This is, I've done several of my Diane Reevely journals with this technique, using her masks and then doodling. I just did a little bit of doodling here. I'll show you when I do this one, some other doodling. I want to make a little tiny, like a notebook, you know. I'm going to use some just some random paper after I'm done. But this is a piece of cardstock that I had jelly printed on, so it's a little bit thicker. And I am going to use that cutout from, you know, from this die here. Okay, and I am going to prepare myself to have black fingers. Although the gesso comes off a little easier off your hands than the paint does for whatever reason. I usually just get it stuck around my fingernails. That's where I usually can't get it off. So let's get started, all right? So here we are. Hey, Renee. So here we are. We have our page, and like I had mentioned earlier, this is one that I had jelly printed, gosh, probably a year ago, and I had listed off a bunch of other things that you could use as well, anything that's got a pattern on it. And there's my mask that I'm using, my mask that I made myself. And I am going to put a blob of black gesso on my glass mat here. Can you see that? The way that I have set up the thing that holds the cameras over a little bit too far, so I can't use the white sheet. But anyway, I'm going to take a little bit of that gesso, and you can see, right, there is the gesso on my sponge. And I'm just going to twirl it around like this and kind of work it into the sponge, all right, so that I have some gesso on there. And then what I'm going to do is place my mask where I want it, where I'm going to start. I don't know, just right here, I guess. And I'm going to hold it down. And I'm just going to start kind of like you're blending around the edges of the piece. You got to hold it down pretty tight because you don't want it to slide. And you can add more gesso or paint as you go. And this is the part where I said be prepared for your fingers to be black or brown or whatever color. All right, and there is what that looks like. Now what you're just going to do is do that throughout your page. So next I'm going to go over here. And you just have to be careful that when you're doing this one, you don't overlap into your image that you already did. All right? And you get used to it. You stay more on the mask than you do on the page. But you do want to overlap, right? Because you don't want to see the paper through. kind of have to be an acrobat to keep your fingers in an area where that'll hold it down. So there's 2 images, and you can go off the page too. So I might have this one, and I'm going to cut this page off to the shape that I want, but I might have this next one just be this part of the mask. And it's easier to fill in these spaces if you've got the mask on one side, so you don't have to worry about not going on 2 images. So then you're just going to blend in between the pieces. Ta-da! And you'll just continue like that on your entire page. Now the gesso dries fast, and if your paint takes a little bit longer, you can always hit it with your heat gun. But like I said, the gesso dries really fast. And you can do as few or as many of the images as you would like. I'm just going to do the bottom of Michigan over here. You can put them closer together or farther apart. It's really up to you. The more space you leave in between, you have more area to doodle on. If you're going to doodle, doodly doodle. So you'll just do that in as many places as you want, and then fill in where you don't. I'm just going to do one more, and then I'm going to just really quickly show you some of the things that you can do or use to doodle on the black paint. I had mentioned the doodling that I did on this sample here. That's with Posca pen. The Poscas that write with anything, we have those at Scrappy Chic, of course, available in the store. Whoops. Better get back into our little spot here, or I'm going to have a double image Michigan. Alright. And, you know, if your black isn't dark enough, you can always go back and paint it in. Just make sure that when you're filling in, you don't accidentally fill into your image or stick your black finger in your image, because then you'll have a fingerprint in there, right? Starting to go off the screen. I'll move it over in a second so you can see. I didn't put the gesso in the most ideal spot. Alright, I'm just going to go in a little bit here. Get some of the areas that aren't. Okay, 1 second, and I will wipe that messy gesso off and move back on the screen a little bit more. Handy dandy wipes. So you can see the gesso really does come off of your fingers really easily. Any black gesso will do, any black paint will do, or brown, or Dina Wakley's Night works really well. So anything dark. I've done it with white before. You really have to go over it a bunch of times for the white to cover the colors behind. And that is the only thing. You just have to give it a few layers. So I'm going to dry this really quick with my heat gun. just a little bit wet where I added those extra layers there. Be dry in a second. Okay. Nice and dry. Okay, so a couple of things that you can use are the Stabilo All pencils. These are awesome. Black, red, white. Those are the ones that I typically use. And then, of course, the Poscas. I usually do all of my doodling and outlining in black or white. On this one, though, this is the one I used. The white Posca pen to do the dots on the outside, on the black, and then I used the black Posca pen to do the dashed lines. And then I used the Stabilo pencils to do the heart and the Asemic writing in the Michigan. I'm going to do a little bit more of that style on this one. So I am going to, it's going to be very loose and doodly. You don't have to be loose and doodly. You could certainly wear rubber gloves, Christine. Absolutely. I don't mind having paint on my fingers. People at work are always like, oh, you must have been painting and creating when I come to work and have paint all over my hands. So I'm just going to doodle around. This is the white Stabilo. And remember, this is water soluble. So if you wanted to go in and make your scribbly lines a little less, you could wet them and they would be kind of like watercolor. But for me, I'm good with just some scribbles. And I'm going to do my whole page and then I'll probably cut it down like I had mentioned so that I could do my cover. And when you're using your Stabilo on paint, be prepared to sharpen it a couple of times. The bullet sharpener, this one that we have at the store, is the absolute best sharpener ever. It works so good. It's so heavy. Nice weight in your hand when you're using it. All right. Little scribbling around. And then I'm going to pick one of my Michigans and put a little heart. And do a little bit of Asemic writing. And Dina Wakley does a lot of it. It's writing that you could have say something, but it's illegible. So to me, if I do a lot of it, I'm scribbling it out. I've got a frustration and I'm saying something that no one's ever going to be able to read but me. But a lot of times it's just decorative, so. And I'm just gonna and you could do some of that scribbly Asemic writing in white on the black with the pencil. I like doing it with the Stabilo, but let me just show you. Here's a water pen. The Ranger one is my favorite one. But let me just show you that when you put the water on the pencil, see how it kind of makes it watercolory? Can you see that? So, whoops. So it reacts with water. So if you wanted to, you could do that. I don't in this particular case, so I'm just gonna go right back over it. So that is the technique that I wanted to show you. It would be great for a Michigan journal, the cover of a journal. It would be great for the background on a layout page. Thanks, Jody.
It would be, gosh, you could make a card. I did it on tags. I'll show you if I can find it. Always if. I did this with Dina Wakley style and did a tag book, and I used her silhouette images, the Chip It silhouettes that she has, and then I just did a bunch with her gloss sprays. I used some tags that I didn't love what I did on the background, or the pulls that I did on the jelly plate, and just use those to cover them up, and I absolutely love the way that this tag book worked out. But that is that style, just like that. And then I even used the little chip pieces. I'll show you what they end up looking like. That's them after they've been sprayed a bunch of times. And then I use those in my tags again. If I can find it, I will show you. So I created that tag using those silhouette pieces. So you can keep those pieces that you use for your mask and create with them. Now this was just paper, but you could absolutely, this is the piece I used, you could absolutely keep it and use it. I'm going to throw that in my Michigan bin. So that is it, ladies. Let's see, did I miss any questions? Does anybody have any questions? Because really, that is just about it. Like I said, I'm just going to take this and cut it down to the size cover I want and fold it, and that is just going to end up being a cover to a journal, to a junk journal, to a notebook that I can write in, to a travel journal, to I don't know what. I don't know what. This one will end up in my Michigan stack too, so we'll put that away, and there it is. All right, any questions? Like I said, this die is from the die set that coordinates with the Michigan stamps. This is the large one. You could use the small one. You could also use the mask from Wow, the Michigan. We've got those in stock at the store if you wanted a little bit bigger Michigan. But so don't throw away those experiments. If you're just starting to jelly print, don't throw away those ones you don't like, because look what you can do. You can take a page that you did not love, and then you can love it. You can absolutely love it. All right, so if you guys try this super easy technique, show me. I want to see. Make sure you show me. I love to see what you guys are doing. And don't forget, we have our Create a Card contest still going on. I only have 9 entries, but we've sold 60 kits, so you ladies better get cracking. We need some entries. Get me some entries on there so I can put them in the album. You have until the 6th of July, so hopefully this weekend you'll have an opportunity to do some creating. So the 6th, July 6th is the last day to get your entries in, and then the voting starts right after that. And then don't forget, we are going to have 2 winners. One selected by vote and one selected by random draw. And they are going to get gift cards for our favorite store, Scrappy Chic. So, I mean, who doesn't want to win that prize? So if you bought your kit, make sure you're creating your card. I want to see it. People want to see it. We have got some awesome entries so far. Every single one is fantastic. Fantastic. I love to see them. So make sure you get your entry in. And for those of you that are part of the Scrappy Chic virtual world, we'll see you tomorrow for a sale. I believe that we are doing a
Tim Holtz specific sale, so I know there are some of you that are not going to want to miss that. And then we're not going to be live on Saturday because it's the holiday weekend, so we are hoping that everyone has a safe and fun 4th of July. But yeah, we will be live tomorrow in the virtual world. If you're not a member of the virtual world, send a request to join the group, search it on Facebook. But please answer the questions. I need to have your email address or your phone number, or I won't approve your request. We've got to have that information for invoicing purposes. So if you're wondering why you didn't get approved, that's probably it. All right. Okay, everybody. If you don't have any questions, and I don't see any, I am going to say thank you so much for joining me. And if you're doing this technique, please, 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 let's see it. Share it on the Scrappy Chic Facebook page. We love it. All right, everybody. Okay, have a good night. And then, of course, you can reference the replay. I'll put that up on the page, okay? Have a good night. Thank you.